What's up guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Cello the Fashion Fairy. If you're coming by for the first time, you're welcome. Please subscribe, like and share this video. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I love you for watching. If you want to learn how I made this jumpsuit, I made the jumpsuit in minutes. If you want to learn how I made it, definitely keep watching. See you in my tutorial, guys.
I'm gonna make something great. That's my...
Hi guys, and welcome to my cutting table. So I'm going to be using a paper to illustrate how I folded this fabric. So essentially I use 3 yards of fabric for this, and then the length of my fabric was 45 inches. So I'll show you how I folded this. So these were the measurements that were available to me: 3 yards and then 45 inches. So essentially I folded this first of all widthwise, which was the 3 yards. I folded the 3 yards into 2, so you can see that the fold is on top. So, and I folded it lengthwise. So I did this so I could use the full length of the 3 yards. So I folded widthwise and then lengthwise. So in order to get my vertical measurements, I'm going to be bearing in mind that this is an off shoulder. Therefore, I'm going to be placing the -4 on top of this so I can get all my vertical measurements. So the first I marked was my bust point, and this is my waist. So I'm just going to go in again so that I'll mark it out so that you guys can see it clearly. So that's my waist, and from my waist to my hip I marked 9 inches. So whatever I had, I measured 9 inches from my waist, and that was my hip point. So in order to get my crotch line, bearing in mind that this is a jumpsuit, I'll be doing my hip measurement divided by 4, and then I'm going to be adding 3 inches to this. I'm going to be putting my tape on my waistline, and I'm going to be measuring what I got. For me, I got 13 inches or so, and then I added 3 inches to it. So do well to work with the measurements that you have. So to get my crotch extension, I'm going to be doing my hip measurement divided by 10. So for me, it was 4.5, and this was what I placed all the way to the top of this fabric. Going in with my ruler, I'm just going to mark these points all the way up. From my crotch line, I measured 3 inches up and I made a mark right there, and this will guide me in making my crotch curve. I decided to go in with my curve because I wanted a better curve for my crotch. On the hemline or leg opening, I marked 3 inches from that point and I connected it all the way to my crotch line. So guys, my fabric refused to align by the sides, so make sure yours align properly, and if it doesn't, just mark 2.5 inches inwards right from the place that it aligned properly, and leave this mark. We will get back to it later. So from here, I will start putting in my horizontal measurements. At this point, I marked 6.5 inches, but eventually noticed it was too big, so I advise that you mark 5.5 at this point. So getting my armhole depth, I used 9.5 inches, bearing in mind that I have 1/2 inch on top in order to hem that upper part. So this is where I'll be putting in my bust measurement. So I divided my bust measurement by 4, and I added 1.5 inches to it. I'll be using 1/2 inch to join the sides, and I'll be leaving 1 inch in as ease. Going in with my curve, I made sure I connected it all the way to the top. Watch that it's not so curvy, guys. Please make sure you follow same. So this is my waistline, and here I divided my waist by 4 and I added 2 inches of ease. I'm going to be taking ½ inch away at this point when I am joining everything together. Dividing my hip measurements by 4, and I added 1 inch of ease here. I connected it all the way to my waistline. So from my hip point, I'm going to mark a straight line to meet that 2.5 inches that we went in by at that point. So this is me measuring exactly what I had on my hip on my crotch line, and I'm going to mark a straight line to meet the 2.5 inches that we marked inwards earlier. We'll go ahead and cut out this right now. So bearing in mind that the center part, we need 1 inch to join it, 1 inch to join the front part, and another 1 inch to add our zipper allowance. So I'm going to be adding 1 inch all the way to my crotch curve. So we're going to go ahead and cut out this. Remember the way we folded it, we have already cut out the front and the back pieces. Remember to notch accordingly so that you will know exactly what to remove when it gets to putting the pieces together. So these are what we have now. We have the front and we have the back. So I'm going to be showing you guys how we put this together. So for the hand, I didn't have enough fabric left, so I decided to use that V that you can see there to make my sleeve. But if you want, you can definitely use whatever sleeve that you desire for this. So because we marked minus 4 inches, that was exactly what I marked there, and I used the jumpsuit to trace out the armhole. So this is what my sleeve looks like, guys. But remember, I said you can do whatever sleeve you desire. So this is how my pocket looks like, guys. If you're confused as to how I achieved this, kindly refer to my previous video where I showed you how to achieve this. So I've gone ahead to use my 1 inch that I added to stitch these together. So for the back, I made basting stitch, so it was easy for me to pull this out, and I used it to add my zipper. So I usually like to do this and then iron it flat because it becomes easier to just use the line that I ironed out to attach my zipper. So this is the front part. I already ironed it down and I already hemmed the upper part of it. You can totally use a bias for this, or you can use a facing. Like I said earlier, I didn't have enough fabric to do all this. So to attach my pockets, I measured 19 inches from the upper part, placing my tape roll exactly at 4.5 inches since I already hemmed the upper part. So I then eventually decided to use 20 because I wanted it to be a bit lower. So I advise that you use 20 for yours. So for the back, because I wanted to eliminate any excesses behind, because we did not trim out our waistline for the back, so I decided to measure where my waistline for the back was, and I went in by ½ inch in order to create a curve for the back. So at this point, I'm going to advise you to mark out your hip line, and then I want you to connect the 1/2 inch inwards all the way down to your hip. I didn't do this for this tutorial and I ended up regretting it. So I should have marked it all the way to that hip line so that it will properly eliminate all the bulge. So I've gone ahead to attach my zipper off camera, and what I did was to cut a strip of fabric which I used to turn in the upper part. So this is what it looks like, guys, and I'm going to be folding it in one more time just to seal it completely. I already attached one side of camera and I left about 1.5 inches right there so that I will attach my sleeve with ease. I'll also go ahead and hem the lower part of this. I already did one sleeve off camera and this is what it looks like, and I'm going to show you how I did this. So remember I left about 1.5 inches right there, so I would attach this with ease. So what I did was to hem the lower part of my sleeve and also the upper part of my sleeve. So I'm going to show you guys how I attach this. So I placed one side like so and I ran a stitch all the way down, and I also turned the other side inwards. So this is what my pocket looks like, guys. You can see that it's not even noticeable. And this is the final look, guys. You can see that it looks really nice. So this is me putting it on without belt, and of course you can totally do a belt, a fabric belt with this, or you can use a ready-made belt as well. And this is what it looks like with my belt. So please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. I love you for watching. See you in my next tutorial, guys. Bye.